Today, we're journeying deep into the heart of the Peruvian Andes to a place that whispers secrets from a time long before the famous Inca Empire. Forget what you think you know about ancient Peru, because we're about to explore a site that redefines mystery and ancient power, the enigmatic Chavin de Huantar. Imagine this. You're standing in a rugged valley surrounded by towering peaks. In front of you is a massive stone complex, a labyrinth of plazas, platforms, and pyramids. This isn't just old, it's ancient, dating back over 3,000 years. This was the heart of the Chavin culture, a civilization that dominated this region for centuries, long before the first Inca stone was ever laid. What makes this place so special? It wasn't an empire built on conquest, but on belief. Chavin de Huantar was a pilgrimage center, a place where people from all over the Andes would travel to connect with the divine. And the priests here, they weren't just spiritual leaders, they were masters of illusion, psychology, and engineering. The main structure, known as the castillo, or castle, is a marvel of ancient architecture. But the real magic lies hidden beneath. The entire complex is riddled with a network of narrow, winding tunnels known as galleries. These weren't tombs or storage rooms. Archaeologists believe these dark, disorienting passages were a key part of the Chavin religious experience. Pilgrims would enter this subterranean world, a journey into the unknown, designed to break down their sense of self and open their minds to the supernatural. As you walk through these tight corridors, the air grows cool and still. The only light is what you bring with you, and it dances off the massive, perfectly fitted stone blocks. Then you see them. Carved into the walls are terrifying, yet mesmerizing images. These are the gods of Chavin, powerful beings that are part human, part animal. You'll see figures with the fangs of a jaguar, the claws of an eagle, and serpents for hair. These aren't friendly deities. They are primal forces of nature, representing the sky, the earth, and the underworld. The most famous is the Lanzon, a towering stone monolith hidden deep within the oldest part of the temple. It's a 5-meter-tall spear-shaped carving of the primary Chavin deity, a fanged god with a snarling expression. It's strategically placed at the intersection of several tunnels, a terrifying and awe-inspiring sight for anyone who stumbled upon it in the darkness. But the Chavin priests had another trick up their sleeve: sound. The galleries were designed as a massive acoustic instrument. The sound of water flowing through specially built canals, the echo of conch-shell trumpets blown at specific points, the chanting of priests, all of it would reverberate through the tunnels, creating an otherworldly symphony. Imagine being a pilgrim, disoriented in the dark, surrounded by images of fanged gods, and then hearing these booming, disembodied sounds echoing all around you. It would have felt like the gods themselves were speaking. It was a masterclass in sensory manipulation, designed to create a powerful, transformative spiritual experience. The priests weren't just showing you their gods, they were making you feel their presence. And what fueled these visions? Evidence suggests the use of psychoactive substances, likely derived from the San Pedro cactus, which is native to the region and often depicted in Chavin art. Combined with the darkness, the sounds, and the fasting that pilgrims likely endured, this would have induced powerful hallucinatory states. The carved gods on the walls wouldn't just be stone. They would appear to move, to speak, to come alive in the flickering torchlight. This wasn't just a temple. It was a carefully constructed machine for altering consciousness. Above ground, in the main plaza, another incredible feature awaits: the tenon heads. These were once hundreds of stone heads, each uniquely carved with a mix of human and animal features that protruded from the temple's outer walls. They seemed to depict a transformation, with some looking almost human, while others are contorted into snarling, jaguar-like visages, complete with mucus dripping from their nostrils, a known side effect of the psychoactive substances they used. Were these portraits of the priests? Or were they meant to show the pilgrims the very process of spiritual transformation they were undergoing? Today, only one remains in its original place, a silent guardian of the temple's forgotten rituals. So, who were these Chavin people? They were brilliant engineers, skilled artists, and profound spiritual innovators. Their influence spread far and wide, not through armies, but through the sheer power of their ideology. The art style, the fanged gods, and the religious concepts born here at Chavin de Huantar would go on to influence countless later Andean cultures, including the Moche, the Nazca, and even the Incas themselves. They laid the spiritual groundwork for 1,000 years of civilization. But like all great ancient cultures, their time came to an end. Around 500 BC, Chavin de Huantar was abandoned. Why? We don't know for sure. Perhaps it was climate change, social upheaval, or the rise of new religious centers. The site fell into silence, its secrets buried under earth and rubble, waiting for centuries to be rediscovered. Visiting Chavin de Huantar today is an incredible experience. You can walk through those same dark galleries, run your hands over the cool, carved stones, and stand in the plaza where pilgrims once gathered in awe. While the sounds and rituals are gone, the power of the place remains. It's a tangible link to a distant past, a testament to the human search for meaning and our capacity to build the extraordinary in the name of belief. It reminds us that history is not just a collection of dates and empires, but a story of ideas, visions, and the enduring mysteries of the human spirit. What do you think happened here? What was the ultimate purpose of this incredible temple? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the ancient world. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious.
Imagine the Amazon rainforest, vast and seemingly untouched. But what if I told you that beneath its dense green canopy lies evidence of a sophisticated, lost civilization? For centuries, these secrets were hidden. But now, thanks to deforestation and satellite imagery, an astonishing discovery has been made. Hundreds of massive geometric shapes, circles, squares, and intricate lines are etched into the earth. These are the Amazon geoglyphs of Brazil. Some stretch over 300 meters across. These aren't random patterns. They are deliberate, monumental constructions created thousands of years ago, long before the rainforest grew over them to build them. And why? Researchers believe these weren't villages, but ceremonial centers, places for rituals and gatherings. These geoglyphs completely rewrite our understanding of ancient Amazonia, revealing a complex society that once thrived where we thought only wilderness existed. It's a mind-blowing reminder that our world is still full of ancient mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible discoveries. Thanks for watching.
Hello, fellow explorers of the past, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying deep into the sun-scorched landscapes of the American Southwest, to a place where history is etched directly into the earth. We're talking about Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, home to one of the most baffling and impressive feats of ancient engineering, the Great North Road and the vast network of Chacoan roadways. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a desert canyon, surrounded by the monumental ruins of a civilization that vanished centuries ago. As you look out, you see impossibly straight lines, carved into the stone and soil, stretching for miles across the horizon. These aren't simple footpaths. These are engineered roadways, some up to 30 feet wide, perfectly straight, regardless of the terrain. They climb sheer cliffs, cut through hills, and traverse rugged mesas. But here's the mystery that has puzzled archaeologists for decades. The ancient Pueblo people, often called the Anasazi, had no wheeled vehicles, no carts, and no draft animals. So why would they build such massive, over-engineered roads? Between 850 and 1250 AD, Chaco Canyon was the center of a thriving culture. It was a hub of ceremony, trade, and community, with massive, great houses like Pueblo Bonito standing as testaments to their architectural genius. Radiating from this center is a web of over 400 miles of identified roadways. The most famous of these is the Great North Road. It runs almost perfectly north from Chaco for over 30 miles, seemingly ending in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't connect to any major settlement or obvious resource. It just stops. This brings us to the central question. What were these roads for? The most straightforward theory is trade. Chaco was a major center, and these roads could have been grand avenues for transporting goods like turquoise, pottery, and food from outlying communities. Imagine processions of people carrying goods on their backs, walking along these wide, clear paths. The roads would have made travel more efficient and also served as a powerful symbol of Chaco's influence, a physical network connecting its sphere of control. It's a logical explanation, but it doesn't quite account for the sheer scale and strangeness of their design. Why so straight? Why so wide? Simple trade paths usually follow the path of least resistance, winding around obstacles. These roads do the exact opposite, tackling difficult terrain head-on, as if the straightness itself was the point. This leads us to a more spiritual, more enigmatic possibility. Many researchers, and indeed modern Pueblo descendants, believe these roads were not just for physical travel, but for spiritual journeys. They could have been roads for the soul, pathways for ceremonial processions, or conduits for spiritual energy. In many Native American belief systems, the North is a significant direction, often associated with the origin of ancestors or the spirit world. The Great North Road, pointing directly north into the unknown, could have been a symbolic connection to the realm of the ancestors, a path for spirits to travel to and from the ceremonial heart of Chaco Canyon. The road's abrupt end might not be an end at all, but a transition point, where the physical path ends and the spiritual journey begins. Think about the effort involved. Entire communities would have had to work together, quarrying stone, moving earth, and meticulously planning these routes without modern surveying equipment. The construction itself would have been a massive communal and ceremonial act. Perhaps the very act of building the road was as important as the road itself, a ritual that bound the people together and affirmed their place in the cosmos. The roads could have been used for pilgrimages, where people from distant villages traveled to Chaco for major seasonal ceremonies. The wide, straight paths would have created a dramatic and awe-inspiring approach to the canyon, signaling to all that they were entering a sacred and powerful place. Let's look closer at the construction. Archaeologists have found that the roads were often excavated down to the bedrock or a stable soil layer. They were bordered by earthen berms or stone masonry, and in some places they even had stairways carved into steep cliff faces. At one point along the Great North Road, an immense stone ramp, 30 feet wide and nearly 200 feet long, was built to ascend a 65-foot cliff face. This is an incredible amount of work for people who were just walking. This level of dedication suggests a purpose that goes far beyond simple utility. It suggests a deeply held belief, a world view where the physical landscape was intertwined with the spiritual. Another fascinating aspect is what archaeologists have found along these roads. They've discovered offerings like broken pottery and pieces of turquoise left in specific locations. This further supports the idea that the roads themselves were sacred spaces, not just travel corridors. Small, isolated structures, sometimes called shrines or rest stops, are also found along the routes. These weren't dwellings, but places that might have served as waypoints for pilgrims or locations for roadside rituals. Every element seems to point to a complex system of belief where the journey was as meaningful as the destination. The roads were a tangible map of their spiritual world, laid out across the desert floor. So, where does that leave us? The mystery of the Chacoan roads is a perfect example of how much we still have to learn about the ancient world. Were they grand commercial highways, a testament to Chaco's economic power? Or were they sacred causeways, celestial alignments, or paths for the spirits of ancestors? The truth is, they were likely a bit of all of these things. In the ancient Pueblo worldview, there probably wasn't a strict separation between the practical and the spiritual. A trade route could also be a pilgrimage path. A road to an allied village could also be a symbolic connection to the spirit world. The roads were multifunctional, embedding layers of meaning into the very landscape. Today, you can still see traces of these ancient roads from the ground, or even more impressively, from the air. They are faint but undeniable reminders of a complex society that organized their world in a way we are still trying to understand. They challenge our modern assumptions about what a road is for. They ask us to think beyond simple transportation and consider how a path can connect people not just to places, but to ideas, to history, and to the heavens. The Great North Road doesn't lead to another city. Perhaps it leads to a deeper understanding of the Chacoan people and their profound connection to the world around them. It is a road to the past, a road to the spirit world, and a road to a mystery that continues to captivate us. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Chaco Canyon. What do you think these incredible roads were for? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed unraveling this ancient mystery with us, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next adventure into the past. Until next time, keep exploring. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're journeying back in time, not to the pyramids of Egypt or the temples of Greece, but to the heartland of America, to Ohio of all places. Because hidden in plain sight across the Ohio Valley are some of the most spectacular and mysterious structures on the entire planet. The Great Hopewell Earthworks. Imagine this. Vast geometric shapes meticulously carved into the earth. We're talking massive circles, perfect squares, and complex octagons. Some so large that you can only truly appreciate their scale from the air. These aren't just random piles of dirt. They are monumental architectural achievements, stretching for miles and built with a precision that is simply mind-boggling. And here's the kicker. They were constructed 2,000 years ago by a people who had no metal tools, no wheels, and no written language as we know it. So, who were these master builders? We call them the Hopewell culture. This wasn't a single tribe or a unified empire, but a network of different communities connected by shared traditions, beliefs, and a sophisticated trade network. From about 100 BC to 500 AD, these people flourished, creating a vibrant society right here in North America. They were hunters, gatherers, and farmers, but above all, they were visionaries. They chose specific locations, often on high river terraces, to build these enormous ceremonial centers. Using pointed sticks to dig and baskets to carry earth, countless people over generations moved millions of tons of soil to create these masterpieces. Think about the level of social organization required. This wasn't a weekend project. This was a sustained community-wide effort that spanned centuries, demanding sophisticated planning, leadership, and a shared purpose we are still trying to fully understand. Let's zoom in on one of the most famous sites, the Newark Earthworks. This place is an absolute marvel. It features a massive circular enclosure connected to an equally large octagon. The precision is astonishing. The sides of the squares are nearly perfect, and the circles are so geometrically pure they rival anything the ancient Greeks or Romans built. But the real genius lies in their alignment with the cosmos. That's right, these weren't just pretty shapes on the ground. The Newark Earthworks, in particular, functions as a massive astronomical observatory. The octagon is aligned with the risings and settings of the moon, specifically tracking its complex 18.6-year cycle. This is an incredibly subtle astronomical event, the lunar standstill, that many ancient cultures missed entirely. How did the Hopewell people, without advanced mathematics or telescopic instruments, map the intricate dance of the moon with such accuracy? It suggests generations of patient sky-watching, passing down sacred knowledge from one shaman or astronomer to the next. These earthworks weren't cities where people lived day to day. Archaeologists believe they were grand ceremonial centers, pilgrimage sites that drew people from hundreds, even thousands of miles away. Imagine traveling for weeks, bringing valuable offerings, to gather inside these sacred enclosures. What happened there? We can only speculate. Perhaps massive feasts, elaborate rituals, sacred games, or astronomical ceremonies marking key moments in the celestial and seasonal cycles. The trade network that supplied these gatherings was incredible. At Hopewell sites, archaeologists have found materials from all over the continent. There's obsidian from the Rocky Mountains, seashells from the Gulf of Mexico, copper from the Great Lakes, and mica from the Appalachian Mountains. These weren't just raw materials, they were transformed into breathtaking works of art. We found intricate copper cutouts of birds and serpents, beautifully carved stone pipes in the shape of animals, and delicate sheets of mica cut into geometric and human forms. These objects were likely used in ceremonies or buried with important individuals, connecting the earthly realm with the spiritual world. One of the most iconic finds are the Hopewell platform pipes. These aren't just for smoking. They are miniature sculptures depicting the rich animal world of the Ohio Valley with incredible realism and artistic flair. You can see beavers, bears, owls, and river otters, each one a masterpiece of observation and craftsmanship. These pipes were likely used to smoke sacred tobacco, sending prayers and messages up to the spirit world. But around 500 AD, the construction of these great earthworks stopped. The vibrant trade network began to fade, and the Hopewell culture as a distinct tradition seemed to vanish. Why? There's no single, easy answer. It wasn't a sudden collapse or a violent conquest. Some theories suggest a shift in climate affecting agriculture, while others propose a change in social or religious beliefs. Perhaps the system just became too complex to maintain, or maybe people simply chose a different way of life, with beliefs becoming more localized and community-focused. The mystery of their decline is as captivating as the mystery of their rise. What they left behind, however, is a legacy written on the very landscape of America. For a long time, early European settlers couldn't believe that Native Americans had built these structures. They came up with all sorts of fantastic theories attributing them to a lost race of giants or wandering Vikings, or the 10 lost tribes of Israel, anything to avoid giving credit to the indigenous people who were still living on the land. It took decades of dedicated archaeological work to prove definitively that the ancestors of modern Native American tribes were the true architects of these wonders. The Hopewell earthworks are a powerful testament to the ingenuity, spirituality, and deep-rooted history of the original inhabitants of this continent. They force us to rethink our understanding of ancient America, revealing a world that was far more complex, connected, and sophisticated than most of us were ever taught in school. Today, many of these sites have been lost to farming and urban development. But the ones that remain, like the Newark Earthworks and the Hopewell Culture National Historical Park, are now protected. In fact, they've recently been designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, finally recognized for their universal importance alongside places like Stonehenge and the Great Wall of China. So, the next time you think about the great ancient wonders of the world, don't just look across the oceans. Look to the heart of America. The great Hopewell earthworks are a quiet, profound statement of human genius. They remind us that there are incredible stories and mysteries right under our feet, and that the desire to connect with the cosmos is a timeless, universal human endeavor. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. What do you think happened inside these sacred spaces? Let me know your theories down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more hidden histories, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Until next time, stay curious. Have you ever stood somewhere and felt the immense weight of history, a place where the past whispers on the wind? Today, we're traveling to one such place, a site that echoes with the footsteps of an ancient civilization, the Toltec Mounds in New Mexico, USA. Let's journey together back in time and uncover the secrets of this incredible archaeological wonder. The name Toltec Mounds might be a little confusing at first. When archaeologists first discovered this sprawling complex, they mistakenly believed it was an outpost of the Toltec Empire from central Mexico. But through decades of careful research, we now know the truth is even more fascinating. These mounds were actually the heart of a vibrant culture that thrived right here in the American Southwest, a people we now refer to as the Plum Bayou culture. They lived here from about 650 to 1050 AD, long before Columbus ever set sail. Imagine this landscape 1,000 years ago. Instead of quiet parkland, you'd see a bustling ceremonial center. This wasn't just a random collection of hills. It was the largest and most complex settlement of its time in the entire lower Mississippi Valley. It served as a religious, social, and political hub for people living for miles around. Picture families and communities gathering here for ceremonies, festivals, and important social events, guided by their leaders and spiritual figures. So, what are these mounds? They are massive, man-made earthen structures, built by hand, one basketful of dirt at a time. Think about the sheer effort that took. Without beasts of burden or modern machinery, thousands of people worked together over generations to construct these monuments. This wasn't just about building. It was an act of communal devotion, a physical representation of their society's strength and organization. Today, 18 distinct mounds still stand, though they were once taller and more sharply defined before centuries of erosion took their toll. The two most impressive are Mound A and Mound B. Mound A is the tallest, soaring to about 50 feet high. This wasn't a burial mound, but a platform mound. At its flat summit, there would have been important structures, perhaps the home of a chief or a sacred temple, a place lifted high above the everyday world, closer to the sky and the gods. Mound B, standing at a still impressive 38 feet, served a similar purpose. But what's truly mind-blowing about these two mounds, and a third, smaller mound, Mound E, is their precise alignment. If you stand on Mound B and look towards Mound E at sunrise on the summer solstice, the sun appears to rise directly over the mound. Then, if you look towards Mound A at sunset on the same day, the sun sets right over it. This isn't a coincidence. This deliberate arrangement reveals an incredible secret. The people of Plum Bayou were brilliant astronomers. They built their entire ceremonial center to function as a massive earth and sky calendar. They used the mounds to track the changing seasons, to mark the longest and shortest days of the year, the solstices, and the points of equal day and night, the equinoxes. Why was this so important? For an agricultural society, knowing exactly when to plant and when to harvest was a matter of life and death. This celestial knowledge gave their leaders immense power and authority. They could predict the seasons, ensuring the community's survival and prosperity. Their understanding of the cosmos was woven into the very fabric of their society, their religion, and their daily lives. The mounds weren't just piles of dirt. They were sacred instruments connecting the people on Earth to the cycles of the heavens. As you walk the trails here, you'll notice the mounds are arranged around two large open areas, or plazas. These plazas would have been the center of public life. Imagine them filled with people, the air thick with the smell of cooking fires, the sounds of music, storytelling, and ritual chants. It was here that games were played, alliances were forged, and the community came together to celebrate their shared identity. It was the living, breathing heart of their world. Now, let's talk about the name again, Toltec. Why did early explorers make that connection? It partly comes from the sheer scale and sophistication of the site. They saw these massive earthworks and assumed they must have been built by a powerful, known empire like the Toltecs of Mexico. There are tantalizing similarities in some cultural practices and artifacts found across the Americas, which led to these early theories of direct influence. While we now know the Plum Bayou culture was distinct and locally developed, the name Toltec Mounds has stuck. It's a reminder of how our understanding of history evolves. It also hints at the vast network of trade and communication that existed across the continent. Ideas and goods traveled thousands of miles, creating a rich tapestry of interconnected cultures. While not a Toltec colony, the people here were not isolated. They were part of a much larger world. So what happened to them? Around 1050 AD, the site was largely abandoned. The reasons aren't entirely clear, but archaeologists have some compelling theories. It could have been due to a combination of factors. Climate change might have led to prolonged droughts or floods, making agriculture unreliable. The depletion of local resources like timber and game could have also played a role. There may have been social or political upheaval as well. Perhaps new, more powerful chiefdoms rose in the region, drawing people away. Or maybe there was internal conflict that fractured the community. It's likely a complex mix of environmental and social pressures that led the Plum Bayou people to move on, leaving their great ceremonial center to the forces of nature. Their descendants likely integrated into other groups that would later become the historic tribes of the region, like the Quapaw. The spirit and knowledge of the Plum Bayou people didn't vanish. It simply transformed and flowed into new channels. Today, the Toltec Mounds Archaeological State Park is a place of profound peace and reflection. It's a testament to the ingenuity, spirituality, and resilience of a civilization that flourished here a millennium ago. Walking these grounds, you can almost feel the presence of the people who built this place, who gathered in the plazas, and who watched the sun and stars from the tops of these sacred mounds. It's a powerful reminder that the history of America is so much deeper and more complex than we often learn. Long before European settlers arrived, this land was home to thriving societies with rich cultures and a deep understanding of the world around them. Visiting places like the Toltec Mounds helps us connect with that ancient past and appreciate the incredible human story written upon this landscape. Thank you so much for joining me on this virtual journey to the Toltec Mounds. It's places like this that spark our curiosity and connect us to our shared human heritage. If you enjoyed this exploration, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more adventures into the mysteries of the past. Let me know in the comments if you've ever visited a place that made you feel connected to ancient history. Until next time, stay curious. Today, we're venturing deep into the lush jungles of Honduras, to a place where history, sport, and ritual collide in a spectacular, and sometimes brutal, fashion. We're exploring the ancient Mayan city of Copan, and specifically its magnificent ball court. Imagine stepping back in time over 1,000 years ago. The air is thick with humidity. The sounds of the jungle echo all around, and before you stands this incredible stone structure. It's not just any field. It's a sacred arena, the stage for a game that was far more than just a sport. This was a cosmic battle, a reenactment of creation myths, a way for the Maya to commune with their gods. The ball court at Copan is one of the most beautiful and well-preserved in the entire Mayan world. Flanked by two towering, sloping walls, the playing alley is surprisingly narrow. As you walk through it, you can almost hear the ghostly echoes of the past. The thud of a solid rubber ball, the shouts of players, and the roar of the crowd, which would have included kings, priests, and nobles dressed in their finest regalia. So, what was this game all about? It was called Pocketalk, and it was played with a solid rubber ball that could weigh up to 9 pounds. The goal? To get that heavy ball through one of the stone hoops or markers set high on the walls. Here's the catch. Players couldn't use their hands or feet. They had to strike the ball using only their hips, thighs, and sometimes their forearms. Think of it as a super intense, full-contact version of volleyball, but with a ball as heavy as a bowling ball and stone walls instead of a net. The players were incredible athletes. They wore thick leather padding, yokes around their waists and guards on their knees and elbows, to protect themselves from the brutal impact of the ball. Even with protection, injuries were common and severe. Bruises, broken bones, and internal bleeding were all part of the game. These weren't just sportsmen, they were warriors, putting their bodies on the line in this high-stakes ritual. Let's take a closer look at the court itself. The craftsmanship is breathtaking. The sloping walls are decorated with intricate carvings. At Copan, one of the most iconic features are the 6 magnificent macaw head markers that line the tops of the walls. These vibrant scarlet macaws were sacred birds to the Maya, believed to be messengers of the sun god. Having them watch over the game added another layer of divine importance to the proceedings. The entire arena was designed to be a symbolic portal to the underworld, the place where the Mayan hero twins famously defeated the Lords of Death in a ball game. Now, for the question on everyone's mind, what happened to the losers? Or, in some cases, the winners? This is where things get really intense and a little bit murky. The popular image is that the losing team was immediately sacrificed. And while that certainly did happen at some sites, the reality was more complex. The game was deeply tied to ritual and sacrifice, which the Maya believed was necessary to nourish the gods and maintain cosmic order. Look at the carvings here near the central marker. They depict the legendary founder of the Copan dynasty, Kinich Yaks Kuk Mo, playing the game. Other reliefs at different Mayan sites show scenes of decapitation linked directly to the ball game. The skull of the sacrificed player was sometimes even used as the core for a new rubber ball. It's a gruesome thought, but for the Maya, it was the ultimate honor. To be chosen for sacrifice meant your life force would help sustain the universe. So, who was sacrificed? It wasn't always the losers. Sometimes the captain of the winning team was chosen. To die at the peak of your athletic glory, as a tribute to the gods, was seen as the most noble death imaginable. It's a concept that's hard for us to grasp today, but it shows just how different their worldview was. The game wasn't about winning or losing in our modern sense. It was about completing a sacred duty. The ball game was also a political tool. Imagine 2 rival cities had a dispute. Instead of going to war, they might settle it with a ball game. The outcome could decide territorial boundaries, tribute payments, or political alliances. The players on the court weren't just athletes, they were diplomats and warriors, and the fate of their city could literally rest on their hips. The ball court at Copan, completed in the 8th century under the rule of the great King 18 Rabbit, is the city's 3rd and final version. Each ruler who built a new court was making a powerful statement about his wealth, his connection to the gods, and his authority. This court was the centerpiece of the city's ceremonial heart, a testament to Copan's power and influence during its golden age. But like all great civilizations, Copan's glory eventually faded. By the 9th century, the city was mysteriously abandoned. The population declined, the kings vanished, and the jungle began to reclaim its stone monuments. For 1,000 years, the ball court lay silent, buried under earth and vegetation, its deadly games forgotten. It wasn't until the 19th and 20th centuries that archaeologists rediscovered and painstakingly excavated this incredible site. What they uncovered has given us an unparalleled window into the Mayan soul. We learned that this wasn't just a game. It was religion, politics, and a life-and-death spectacle all rolled into one. It was a physical reenactment of the struggle between light and darkness, life and death, that defined the Mayan cosmos. Standing here today, it's impossible not to be awestruck. The silence is profound, but if you listen closely, you can almost feel the energy that once filled this space. You can picture the players, padded and determined, leaping to strike the ball. You can see the king, adorned in jade and feathers, watching from his throne, and you can sense the divine, terrifying importance of every single moment. The ball court of Copan is more than just an ancient ruin. It's a powerful reminder of a sophisticated and complex culture that saw the world in ways we can only begin to imagine. It's a story written in stone, a story of gods, kings, and athletes who played for the highest stakes imaginable. It's a testament to the enduring human need for ritual, competition, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey to Copan. What do you find most fascinating about the Mayan ball game? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this adventure into the past, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations of our world's most incredible places. Until next time, stay curious. Deep within the untamed heart of the Guatemalan jungle, a colossal structure sleeps, shrouded in a cloak of emerald green. It's a mountain, but not one carved by nature. This is the handiwork of man, a city lost to time, and at its center stands one of the largest pyramids on Earth, the magnificent Pyramid of La Danta. Welcome, fellow explorers, to a journey back in time. Today, we're venturing into the lost world of El Mirador, a sprawling Maya metropolis that predates even the famous Tikal and Chichen Itza. Imagine a city so vast, so advanced, that at its peak, it was one of the largest in the ancient world. And yet, for centuries, it was completely swallowed by the jungle, its secrets guarded by jaguars and dense canopy. Getting to El Mirador isn't a simple day trip. There are no paved roads, no tourist buses. To witness its wonders, you must commit to a challenging multi-day trek, hacking through dense vegetation, battling mud, humidity, and insects. It's an adventure in the truest sense of the word, a pilgrimage that peels back the layers of modern civilization with every step, preparing you for the sheer scale of what lies ahead. As you finally break through the tree line and gaze upon the sight, you realize the journey is part of the magic. And then you see it. La Danta. It doesn't look like the clean-cut pyramids you see on postcards. From a distance, it appears as a series of 3 massive, jungle-covered hills stacked one upon the other. It's a pyramid complex, a triadic structure built on a grand scale. To understand its size, you have to climb it. The ascent begins at the base, which itself is larger than several city blocks. As you climb the first massive platform, you realize you're walking over countless smaller structures, palaces, and temples, all buried beneath layers of earth and vegetation. This isn't just one pyramid, it's a city on a hill. The entire complex rises to over 72 meters, or 236 feet, but its total volume is what's truly staggering. By some estimates, its volume is around 2.8 million cubic meters, making it one of the most massive ancient structures in the world, rivaling even the Great Pyramid of Giza in sheer mass. Think about that for a moment. Built thousands of years ago, in the heart of the jungle, without metal tools, wheels for transport, or beasts of burden. How did they do it? Archaeologists are still piecing together the puzzle. We know the builders were the pre-classic Maya, a civilization that flourished here long before the classic Maya period that most people are familiar with. They were ingenious engineers. They didn't just stack stones, they created a sophisticated system of cellular retaining walls. They would build a grid of stone walls and then fill the cells with rubble, mud, and limestone plaster. This method allowed them to build bigger, faster, and with greater stability. The sheer manpower required is almost incomprehensible. Tens of thousands of people, working for generations, quarrying stone, hauling it through the jungle, and raising this monument to their gods and their kings. At the very top of La Danta, after a breathless climb, you stand above the jungle canopy. The view is your reward. An endless sea of green stretches to the horizon in every direction. From this vantage point, you can see the tops of other pyramids in El Mirador poking through the trees, connected by ancient causeways called Sac Biob. These were limestone-paved highways, some stretching for miles, connecting the city's districts and even linking El Mirador to other settlements. Standing here, you can almost hear the echoes of the past, the bustling markets, the ceremonial processions, the chants of priests from the temple that once crowned this very summit. The civilization that built this metropolis was incredibly sophisticated. They developed their own writing system, created intricate art, and managed a complex society with a massive population. But around 150 AD, something happened. The city began to decline and was eventually abandoned. The exact reasons are still debated. Was it environmental collapse, prolonged drought, warfare, or a combination of factors? The jungle, ever patient, slowly reclaimed what was hers, covering the grand plazas, the towering pyramids, and the stories of a lost golden age. What's truly mind-boggling is that El Mirador and La Danta are still largely unexcavated. What we see today is just the tip of the iceberg. Using LiDAR technology, which can digitally remove the jungle canopy, archaeologists have revealed a sprawling network of buildings, canals, and agricultural terraces hidden beneath the trees. The city is far larger than anyone ever imagined. Every new excavation season uncovers more clues, more stunning artifacts, and more questions. The story of La Danta is a powerful reminder of the incredible heights that human ingenuity can reach, and a humbling lesson in how even the mightiest civilizations can fade into obscurity. It forces us to reconsider our understanding of ancient history. Long before the Romans built their Colosseum, a thriving superpower was building mountain-sized pyramids in the Americas. It's a testament to a forgotten chapter of human history, one that is slowly, painstakingly being read again. Visiting this place is more than just tourism, it's an act of discovery. You feel like a true explorer seeing something raw, untouched, and authentic. The silence of the jungle, broken only by the call of howler monkeys, allows you to connect with the past in a way that's impossible at more crowded sites. It's a journey that challenges you physically and changes you spiritually. So, the next time you think of the world's greatest wonders, remember the jungle-shrouded giant of Guatemala. Remember La Danta, the sleeping pyramid, a monument to human ambition, swallowed by time, just waiting for its full story to be told. It stands as a silent challenge to our modern world, a mystery that proves there are still incredible secrets buried on our planet, waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible adventure to the heart of the Maya world. If you found this journey as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button, subscribe for more explorations into lost worlds, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What ancient mystery should we uncover next? Until then, keep exploring. Imagine, deep within the lush, steamy jungles of Colombia's Sierra Nevada mountains, a city of stone terraces and plazas, shrouded in mist and mystery. A city that predates the famous Machu Picchu by over 650 years. This isn't a fantasy. This is Ciudad Perdida, the lost city of the Tairona people. For centuries, it was a ghost story, a legend whispered among the local indigenous communities, the Kogi, Wiwa, Arhuaco, and Cancuamo, direct descendants of the Tairona. To the outside world, it simply didn't exist. It was completely swallowed by the relentless jungle, hidden under a thick blanket of vines, trees, and earth. Imagine a bustling city, home to thousands, just vanishing from history. Then, in 1972, everything changed. A group of local treasure hunters, searching for ancient artifacts, stumbled upon a series of stone steps climbing up the mountainside. They followed them, hacking their way through the dense vegetation, and what they found was beyond their wildest dreams. They had rediscovered a civilization. Terraces carved into the mountainside, interconnected by a network of stone paths and stairways, emerged from the jungle floor. It was like a scene from an adventure movie. When archaeologists finally reached the site in 1976, they were stunned. What they uncovered was a sophisticated urban center that once thrived between the 8th and 14th centuries. This wasn't just a small settlement, it was a major political and manufacturing hub. At its peak, it's estimated that between 2,000 and 8,000 people called this spectacular place home. They named it Ciudad Perdida. So, what does it take to reach this incredible place? Well, it's not a simple day trip. The journey to the Lost City is an epic adventure in itself. It's a multi-day trek, typically 4 or 5 days, covering over 44 kilometers of rugged, unforgiving terrain. There are no roads, no vehicles. It's just you, your guide, and the raw, untamed jungle. The trek begins in the small town of El Mamey, where the pavement ends and the real challenge begins. From the moment you start walking, you're immersed in the stunning biodiversity of the Sierra Nevada. You'll hear the constant symphony of the jungle, the calls of toucans, the chatter of monkeys, and the buzz of countless insects. The air is thick with humidity, and the trail is a constant series of steep ascents and descents. You'll be crossing rivers on foot, sometimes with the water up to your waist, navigating slippery mud paths, and pushing your physical limits every single day. Each night, you'll stay in simple camps set up along the trail, sharing stories with fellow trekkers from all over the world. You'll eat hearty meals cooked by local staff, sleep in hammocks or bunk beds, and fall asleep to the sounds of the wilderness. It's a humbling and bonding experience. This isn't just a physical journey, it's a mental one. You learn to appreciate the simple things: a dry pair of socks, a cool river to swim in, and the camaraderie of those sharing the path with you. Your guides are almost always from the local indigenous communities. They don't just know the path, they are part of this land. Their ancestors built the city you're walking towards. They share their deep knowledge of the jungle's plants and animals, their culture, and their spiritual connection to the mountains, which they consider the heart of the world. Hearing their stories adds an incredibly profound layer to the experience. You realize you're not just a tourist, you're a guest in their sacred home. After days of relentless hiking, you reach the final challenge, a steep climb of 200 stone steps leading up to the city's entrance. Your legs are burning, your heart is pounding, but with every step, the anticipation builds. And then you emerge from the tree line. The view is breathtaking. Suddenly, the jungle opens up to reveal a series of circular stone platforms, perfectly carved into the mountaintop. This is it, the main part of Ciudad Perdida. You've arrived. The sense of accomplishment is overwhelming. As you explore the sprawling site, which only has about 10% of its total area excavated, you can almost hear the echoes of the past. You can see the circular foundations where the Tairona built their homes, the plazas where they gathered, and the intricate canal systems they designed for water. The city is a marvel of ancient engineering, perfectly integrated with its natural surroundings. The main terraces offer panoramic views of the surrounding green peaks, often draped in a mystical layer of clouds. Standing there, you can't help but feel a profound sense of wonder. How did they build this, here, in the middle of nowhere, with such precision, over 1,000 years ago? It's a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of the Tairona people. Unlike more crowded ancient sites, Ciudad Perdida retains a powerful sense of discovery. The number of visitors is limited, so you often find yourself standing on a terrace completely alone, with nothing but the sounds of the jungle and the weight of history around you. It's a deeply personal and spiritual experience. You're not just seeing history, you're feeling it. You're walking on the same stones that a powerful civilization walked on centuries ago. The journey back is just as challenging, but you walk with a different perspective. You've been tested, you've connected with nature on a primal level, and you've witnessed a piece of history that few people ever get to see. The trek to Ciudad Perdida is more than just a hike, it's a pilgrimage. It's a journey back in time, and a journey into yourself. It's a powerful reminder that there are still hidden wonders in our world, waiting to be rediscovered. So, if you're looking for an adventure that will truly change you, that will push you to your limits and reward you with something truly unforgettable, maybe it's time to consider getting lost. The lost city of Colombia is waiting. Thanks so much for joining me on this virtual trek. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more adventures to the world's most incredible places. Drop a comment below if you've been to Ciudad Perdida or if it's on your bucket list. See you next time. But to a place right here in the United States that's just as mysterious and mind-blowing. Imagine a bustling city, a marvel of engineering, built 3,000 years ago in the swamps of Louisiana. A civilization so advanced, it defies everything we thought we knew about early American societies. And then it vanished, its memory almost completely erased by time. This is the story of Poverty Point. So, what exactly is Poverty Point? Picture this. It's 1700 B.C. The pyramids of Giza are already ancient history, and the city of Rome won't be founded for another 1,000 years. In this remote corner of North America, a society of hunter-gatherers, people we once thought lived in simple mobile groups, decided to build something monumental. They constructed a massive complex of earthen mounds and concentric, C-shaped ridges. We're not talking about small dirt piles. The entire site covers over 900 acres. The ridges, if laid out end to end, would stretch for more than 7 miles. It was a planned city, an ancient metropolis built by people without metal tools, without wheels, and without draft animals. How did they do it? And, more importantly, why? That's the puzzle that has fascinated archaeologists for decades. Let's break down the sheer scale of this place. The heart of Poverty Point is a series of 6 semicircular earthen ridges. These ridges weren't just random piles of dirt, they were carefully engineered living spaces. People built their homes on top of them, creating a tiered, amphitheater-like community overlooking a central plaza. This plaza, a huge flat area of about 37 acres, was likely the center of public life, a place for ceremonies, gatherings, and trade. Think of it as the ancient equivalent of a town square or a central park. The precision is astounding. The layout suggests a deep understanding of geometry and a highly organized society capable of mobilizing a massive workforce. And then there are the mounds. The most famous is Mound A, often called the Bird Mound. This is an absolute beast of an earthwork. It stands over 72 feet tall and is shaped like a bird in flight. To build this single mound, it's estimated that workers would have had to move over 238,000 cubic meters of soil. That's millions of baskets of dirt, carried by hand, one by one. And here's the truly mind-boggling part. Scientific analysis suggests this colossal structure was built in an incredibly short period, possibly as little as 90 days. Imagine an entire community, thousands of people working together with a single-minded purpose to raise a monument that would last for millennia. It's a testament to their social organization and their dedication to a shared vision. So, who were these incredible people? We don't know what they called themselves, so we refer to them as the Poverty Point culture. They were hunter-gatherer fishers, but not in the way we usually imagine. They were masters of their environment, the resource-rich lower Mississippi Valley. But what's really unique is the evidence of their vast trade network. Archaeologists at Poverty Point have found artifacts made from materials that came from hundreds, even thousands of miles away. We're talking stone for tools from the Ouachita and Ozark Mountains, steatite for bowls from the Appalachian foothills of Alabama and Georgia, and copper from the Great Lakes region. This wasn't just a few isolated trades. It was a systematic, long-distance network that supplied this city with exotic goods. Poverty Point was a true cosmopolitan center, a hub of commerce and culture in the ancient Americas. One of the most characteristic artifacts found here are the Poverty Point objects, or PPOs. These are small, baked loam objects found in the thousands, in various shapes like spheres, cubes, and other geometric forms. For a long time, their purpose was a mystery. But now we have a pretty good idea. They were ancient cooking stones. The people of Poverty Point would heat these clay balls in a fire and then drop them into pit ovens or containers of water to cook their food. Since they didn't have pottery that could withstand direct heat, this was a brilliant and efficient innovation. It's another example of their ingenuity, a simple solution to a complex problem which allowed them to feed a large, settled population. Life in this ancient city must have been vibrant. Imagine the central plaza, bustling with activity, traders arriving with exotic materials, artisans meticulously crafting spear points and decorative beads, the smell of food cooking on hot PPOs, and the sounds of ceremonies and social gatherings echoing from the great mounds. This wasn't a temporary camp, it was a permanent, thriving city. It represents a level of social and political complexity that archaeologists once believed was impossible for a non-agricultural society. These people were challenging our definitions of what civilization means. They didn't need to farm to build a city, create monumental architecture, and sustain a complex society. They did it their own way. But this brings us to the biggest mystery of all. Why was it abandoned? Around 1100 BC, after about 600 years of occupation, the city was deserted. The people left. The ridges slowly eroded, the mounds became overgrown, and the memory of this great city faded into the landscape. There are no signs of warfare, no evidence of a major natural disaster. It's as if they simply walked away. Did the climate change? Did their extensive trade networks collapse? Did their social structure break down? Or did they just decide it was time to move on, their monumental project complete? We simply don't know. The silence that fell over Poverty Point is as profound as the noise of its construction must have been. For thousands of years, Poverty Point lay hidden in plain sight, its ridges and mounds mistaken for natural hills. It wasn't until the 1950s that aerial photography revealed the site's true, artificial nature. That's when archaeologists began to uncover the story of this forgotten civilization. In 2014, in recognition of its incredible significance to human history, Poverty Point was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, placing it on par with Stonehenge and the Great Wall of China. It is a reminder that our own backyard holds stories as ancient and as epic as any in the world. So, Poverty Point stands today as a silent testament to the ingenuity and ambition of ancient American people. It forces us to reconsider the timeline of civilization on this continent and to appreciate the complex societies that flourished long before European contact. It's a puzzle with many missing pieces, a story of a city built against all odds by a people who were truly ahead of their time, only to be reclaimed by the very nature they had so expertly mastered. It's a place that humbles you, making you realize how much history is still buried, waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to ancient Louisiana. What do you think happened to the people of Poverty Point? Let me know your theories down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want to explore more incredible and mysterious places from our past, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious. Have you ever heard of a lost city in the clouds, even older than the famous Machu Picchu? A place shrouded in mist, with walls so high they seem to touch the sky? Today, we're not going to Cusco. We're journeying north to the Amazonas region of Peru to uncover the secrets of a civilization that vanished before history was written. This is the story of Cuelap, the fortress of the Cloud Warriors. Forget everything you think you know about ancient Peru. Long before the Inca Empire dominated the Andes, a mysterious and powerful culture known as the Chachapoyas, or the Warriors of the Clouds, reigned supreme. And at the very heart of their kingdom, perched atop a dizzying 3,000-meter-high ridge, they built their masterpiece, Cuelap. Imagine this. You're ascending through a dense, emerald-green cloud forest. The air is thick with the scent of orchids and damp earth. Strange birds call from unseen branches. Then, through the swirling mist, a colossal wall of stone appears, stretching up to 20 meters high. This isn't just a wall, it's a statement. It's a declaration of power, built from massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons. To put that into perspective, The volume of stone used here at Quelap is 3 times that of the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. It's absolutely mind-boggling. For over 1,000 years, this was the center of the Chachapoyan world. But Quelap wasn't just a military fortress. As we step through one of its 3 narrow, funnel-shaped entrances, designed to be defensive bottlenecks, we find ourselves in a sprawling city. Inside these formidable walls are the remains of over 400 circular buildings. This is the signature architecture of the Chachapoyas. Unlike the rectangular structures of the Incas, these round houses, with their conical thatched roofs, once housed thousands of people: priests, artisans, farmers, and, of course, warriors. Let's walk through the lower town. You can still see the foundations of these homes, decorated with intricate zigzag and rhomboid friezes. These patterns aren't just for show. They're believed to represent the people's gods, perhaps a snake or a puma, connecting them to the spiritual world. It's a city frozen in time, where every stone tells a story. You can almost hear the echoes of daily life, the chatter of families, the grinding of corn, the chants of rituals. But the most enigmatic part of Quelap lies in the upper town. Here we find the Tintero, or inkwell. It's a mysterious, inverted, cone-shaped structure. Was it an astronomical observatory for tracking the stars and seasons, a ritual chamber for sacrifices, or a high-security prison? Archaeologists are still debating its true purpose, adding another layer of mystery to this incredible site. Nearby are the most elite residences, reserved for the nobility and priests, offering a commanding view of the entire valley below. From here, they could see anyone approaching from miles away. The Chachapoyas were a fierce and independent people. They resisted the expansion of the mighty Inca Empire for decades. Even though they were eventually conquered in the late 15th century, their spirit was never truly broken. They left behind a legacy of defiance and incredible ingenuity. The Incas themselves were so impressed by Quelap that they occupied the site, adding their own structures but largely preserving the original Chachapoyan design. But then, everything changed. With the arrival of the Spanish and the diseases they brought, the Chachapoyan civilization, already weakened by Inca rule, collapsed. Quelap was abandoned, left to be slowly reclaimed by the cloud forest. For centuries, its existence was known only to a few local villagers. It became a ghost city, its towering walls and round houses swallowed by vegetation, its stories fading into legend. It wasn't until 1843 that the fortress was rediscovered by a local judge who stumbled upon it while resolving a land dispute. Since then, archaeologists have been painstakingly clearing the jungle and piecing together the puzzle of the Chachapoyas. What they've found is a civilization far more complex and sophisticated than anyone had imagined. They were not only brilliant architects and engineers, but also skilled artists and traders. They created unique textiles, intricate wood carvings, and sarcophagi that were placed on inaccessible cliff faces, watching over their descendants. Visiting Quelap today is a true adventure. Thanks to a modern cable car system, you can now glide over the deep canyon and cloud forest, arriving at the top of the mountain in just 20 minutes. It's a breathtaking journey that builds the anticipation for what awaits. As you walk along the ancient pathways, surrounded by llamas grazing peacefully among the ruins, you can't help but feel a profound sense of awe. This isn't just another ruin. This is a testament to a lost world. A world where people lived in harmony with the clouds, built a fortress in the sky, and carved out a powerful kingdom long before the famous Incas. Quelap challenges our understanding of ancient history and reminds us that there are still so many secrets hidden in the forgotten corners of our planet, waiting to be rediscovered. It's a place that captures the imagination and leaves you wondering about the Cloud Warriors, who called this magnificent fortress home. So, next time you think of ancient Peru, look beyond Machu Picchu. Look to the north, to the misty peaks of the Amazonas, where the silent colossal walls of Quelap stand guard over the secrets of a civilization lost in time. It's a journey that will change the way you see the ancient world forever. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey to the sky fortress of Quelap. If you enjoyed exploring this lost city with us, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next adventure. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring. Imagine trekking through the dense, humid jungle of Costa Rica. The air is thick with the buzz of insects and the calls of exotic birds. Suddenly, through a break in the foliage, you see it. A perfectly round, massive stone sphere, sitting silently amidst the ancient trees. It looks almost alien, like something dropped from the sky. And it's not alone. There are hundreds of them, scattered across the Dikis Delta. Some are small, no bigger than a basketball. Others are colossal, weighing over 16 tons and standing taller than a grown man. These are the great stone spheres of Costa Rica, one of archaeology's most baffling enigmas. For decades, they've puzzled scientists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Who carved these incredible objects? How did they achieve such astonishing perfection in their spherical shape using only primitive tools? And, most intriguingly, why? What purpose did they serve for the ancient people who vanished long before Columbus ever set foot in the Americas? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying deep into Central America to unravel the mystery of these incredible petrospheres. So grab your explorer's hat and let's dive in. The spheres first came to the world's attention in the 1930s. The United Fruit Company was clearing land for banana plantations when workers stumbled upon these strange stone balls. Thinking they might contain gold or other treasures, a common myth at the time, many workers unfortunately drilled holes into them or used dynamite to crack them open. Of course, they found nothing but solid stone. It was a tragic loss of priceless historical artifacts. Thankfully, many spheres survived this initial period of destruction and were eventually recognized for their archaeological importance. The stone used to create most of these spheres is a hard, volcanic rock called granodiorite. The nearest quarries for this type of stone are often miles away from where the spheres were found, sometimes separated by difficult mountainous terrain. So, the first question is, how did an ancient culture, without the wheel or beasts of burden, transport these multi-ton blocks of stone? And once they had the raw material, how did they shape it with such precision? Some of the larger spheres are so perfectly round that the deviation across their diameter is just a matter of millimeters. It's a feat of engineering that would be impressive even with modern technology, let alone with the stone tools believed to have been used by the Dikis culture, who are credited with creating them between 600 and 1500 AD. The process likely involved a painstaking technique of chipping, pecking, and grinding. First, they would roughly shape the boulder, then meticulously chip away at the surface with harder stones. This would be followed by grinding with sand or leather to achieve that smooth, almost polished finish. Imagine the sheer amount of time, patience, and collective effort this would have required. It wasn't the work of one person, but a community, dedicated to a purpose we can only guess at. This brings us to the biggest question of all. Why? What was the point of these spheres? One of the most fascinating theories relates to astronomy. When archaeologists first began mapping the locations of the spheres, they noticed something incredible. Many of the spheres were found in specific arrangements, often in straight lines, triangles, or other geometric patterns. Some of these alignments seem to point to significant astronomical events, like solstices or equinoxes, or even to track the movement of constellations like Orion and Cassiopeia. Could these spheres have been a giant astronomical calendar, a way for the Dikis people to map the heavens on Earth? It's a tantalizing idea. Perhaps they were used to determine the best times for planting and harvesting, or for important religious ceremonies tied to the cosmic cycles. The spheres, in this sense, would have been the center of their social and spiritual life, connecting them to the universe. Another theory suggests they were simply status symbols or markers of power. Perhaps a powerful chief or a village would commission the creation of a sphere to signify their importance and wealth. The bigger and more perfect the sphere, the greater the prestige. They might have marked the boundaries of territories or been placed at the entrances to important settlements or the homes of the elite. We do know they were often placed in prominent public areas, like plazas, suggesting they were meant to be seen and admired. They were a clear statement of a culture's skill, organization, and artistic vision. Of course, where there is mystery, there are always more imaginative theories. Some have proposed that the spheres were created by an advanced, lost civilization like Atlantis. Others, pointing to their perfection, suggest they are evidence of ancient alien visitation. The idea is that no primitive culture could have achieved this level of craftsmanship without extraterrestrial help. While these ideas make for great science fiction, there's no actual evidence to support them. The archaeological consensus remains that the spheres were the incredible handiwork of the indigenous people of Costa Rica. It's a testament not to aliens, but to human ingenuity and determination. Sadly, the full story may be lost to time. The Diquís culture that created the spheres had disappeared by the time of the Spanish conquest in the 16th century. They left behind no written language, no records to explain their motivations. All we have are these silent stone sentinels, holding their secrets close. Over the centuries, many spheres have been moved from their original locations. They've been rolled into ditches, used as garden ornaments, or put on display in museums and government buildings around the world. Every time a sphere is moved, another piece of the puzzle is lost, as its original location and alignment were likely key to its meaning. In 2014, UNESCO recognized the importance of these artifacts and their original settings, declaring the Diquís Delta and its stone spheres a World Heritage Site. This designation has been crucial for protecting the remaining spheres and the archaeological sites where they were found. It ensures that future generations will still be able to wonder at these magnificent objects, and that researchers can continue their work to piece together the clues. Today, archaeologists are using advanced technologies like LiDAR to map the jungle floor, hoping to uncover more spheres and understand their original spatial relationships. The stone spheres of Costa Rica are more than just curious rocks. They are a powerful symbol of a lost culture's legacy. They remind us that there are still profound mysteries in our world, hidden in plain sight. They challenge our assumptions about what primitive people were capable of and inspire awe at their artistry and intelligence. They are a physical connection to a forgotten past, a past written not in words, but in stone. So the next time you think about the great wonders of the ancient world, don't just picture the pyramids of Egypt or the stones of Stonehenge. Remember the perfectly round spheres, resting quietly in a Costa Rican jungle, waiting for their story to be fully told. What do you think? Were they astronomical markers, symbols of power, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. We love hearing your thoughts and ideas. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest puzzles, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries of our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.